In this video, I am going to show you how not to install a ground rod, or I should say how not to test a ground rod, a lesson I had to learn the hard way. Hopefully you will learn from my mistakes. The first thing was I drove in the ground rod, and as you can see here, I measured off 3 feet to install the test. Here is where I installed 6-gauge wire. I pushed it down approximately 6 inches into the ground, hoping that I could get a good reading with just using a Simpson 260 series meter. The first thing I need to do with this meter is to properly zero it out. I set it to times 1 ohms so that it's actual reading, and then it came in at about 2 ohms. I zeroed it out here with that dial on the far right. And now comes my first attempt at running this test. Again, I'm installing the 6-gauge wire 3 feet away. And you'll notice here that I also roll up the tape measure to make sure that the tape measure does not make a connection between the test wire and the ground rod itself. I'm testing to make sure the meter is working and the connections are working properly. You can see I'm getting close to 0 ohms by running it just across the 6-gauge wire. Now here's where I'm going over and connecting the other test lead to the ground rod that is 8 foot into the ground. The meter barely wiggles at a reading of 1, so I change it to times 1000 ohms, and I'm getting approximately a couple thousand ohms worth of resistance here, which is telling me that one of two things: either I've got very poor soil quality, or I'm not doing this right. I'm guessing for the latter. Stay tuned for hopefully a proper way to test a ground rod.